Welcome back to the fields of Perthshire in a very sunny but unfortunately still a very windy Scotland. And this field here, which I was maybe going to give a try, has literally just been planted yesterday. But the good news is, like several of the fields around here, it's potatoes for the first time in maybe 5 years. And talking to the farmer, he's been through these fields with a plough to a depth of 2 feet. So when the harvest does happen in August, September time, I think there will be some good stuff to be found. But let's head over to the field that I'm going to start on today. Welcome back to the fields again. So today it's just me in the XP Deus 2, and I'm going to try a different program. I'm going to go for the Deep HC program, which is program 6, the Deep High Conductor. So apparently this is good for finding conductive signals or highly conductive signals at depth. So I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. Give this a bash initially. I've got a couple of adjustments that I can make if I need to. But I'm just going to give it a go straight out the box, so to speak, with program 6 as it's set in the machine. So let's see how we get on. Martin got a very, very nice William IV silver yesterday, and I got a very battered Victoria shilling. So 2 silvers, and I'm sure there's more to be had. Let's see how we get on. I forgot to press record on the first signal, but you just have to take my word for it. It was a relatively faint 52, 53. I thought maybe a button, but I've got off to a riveting start with a rivet, or the head of a rivet. I forgot to mention as well, I changed to square tones from the, is it PMW tones? But we've got an ear blowing signal right here. Which is a solid 83. It's either going to be aluminium or a great big coin. Let's see what we get. Great start, it's out the hole. Ground's really stony. I just managed to cut myself by stabbing a thorn into my finger. But we're in this clod. No, we're not. We're in this clod. No, we're in here. There we go. We have got a piece of lead. Surprised quite how loud that was for a piece of lead. But we have got a piece of lead. Fairly flat on one side, a bit curved on the other. Who knows? Looks like it's got a bit of age to it, but unfortunately, junk. Kind of struggling a bit to get to grips with the square tones with that program 6, so I've gone back to the PWM or PMW or whatever they're called, and still on program 6. We've got a 54, 55, 56, and it doesn't sound amazing, but again, new program, going to give it a go, see what we get. Okay, that is us out the hole in the clod. Somewhere. Oh, God, this ground is hard. Complete with bleeding finger. Okay, we're somewhere in there. It's probably going to be junk, I think, being so shallow in the ground, but you never know. Whatever it is falling out. There it is there, look. It is it's another piece of bronze. It's a sort of casting piece of lead. Sorry, not lead. Bronze even. Looks like a sort of waste piece. But again, it's a sign of possible metal working going on here. Almost looks like it should be a little horse or a little animal, but it's not. Oh well, on to the next. Just 6 feet away from the little piece of bronze. 42, 43. And we'll have to give it a go and see what it is. I've not got high hopes. This time we've got a little slither of lead. Very thin. Thought it might have had decoration on it, but I don't think so. Smooth on one side, some sort of marks on the other, but it's definitely got a bit of age to it, whatever it is. Technically though, it's junk. Fairly deep down this time, 7 inches, maybe 8 inches. Came through as a 63, 64, and we've got a thing. A thing, the kind of thing that you're never going to know what it once was. I don't know, maybe a bit of a sort of webbing belt, part of a something military. Looks like a copper alloy. A little hole in the top, little slot in the middle. It's had something, maybe a loop of some description on there that's broken off, but it is junk. Not getting off to the best of starts today. Fingers crossed for something better. We've got a ear blowing signal here, which is coming in at 86, solid 86, and before I think that was a bit of lead. I would have normally said a coin in the other programs, but let's see what happens. So far, not so good. Here we go. It was an ear blowing signal. I've just managed to break the end off there by being ham-fisted, but it is some sort of bracket of some description, made of copper alloy, so very similar to what you would expect some coins to be made of. And yet again, it is an example of junk. Didn't even need to dig for this one, it was right on the surface, 65, and it's some sort of little twisty thingy, like a T-bar type sort of thing. Probably off something agricultural, too big to be off a pocket watch, but you know, that kind of mechanism to turn something on or off, a little tap, or even to wind something up. Oh well. I didn't film this one, but at least we have finally got some kind of relic. Here we go. This, if I remember rightly, is part of the timer mechanism. It's either for a mortar or a hand grenade. I'm not sure which. Someone's mentioned before in the comments. If you do remember, then do let me know, but I think it was part of a hand grenade, a Mills hand grenade. As you're well aware, we've had lots of them off this field. Thankfully, no live ones yet, but give it time. Came through, it was all over the place. It was jumping between 60, the low 60s and 92. And then once it came out, it was a solid 92, so not sure why that is, but it is our first relic, kind of. And this will date to the sort of 1930s through the 1940s, when this was a firing range. A 52, 53 this time. I was expecting probably a fragment of lead. And what did I get? A fragment of lead. So, junk, as we call it in the business. And I'm really not doing very well. That's about an hour and a half in, and all I've got to really show for it is a pocket full of rubbish and a bit of either a hand grenade or a mortar round. We have got an ear blowing signal here. 95, 96. We're in the realms of silver or aluminium. Which do you think it's going to be? Based on my performance so far, I'm guessing aluminium, but let's give it a go. Moment of truth. Are we going to turn this, what so far has been 90 minutes of rubbish, are we going to turn it around? Came out on the last spadeful. It's there. I think we've got a coin. Or a bottle top. Nope, I think it might be a coin. Come on. Nice impression. And we have got a coin. We have got a coin. My God, at last. I think it's going to be a Georgie Porgy. One of the Georgies, maybe George the Third. And I would guess it's probably going to be a penny. But can we get any detail off it? We'll get it to dry out a little bit and then we'll give it a rub-a-dub with the magic finger. My luck has changed. Yes. It might be a big crusty looking coin, but I can just make out Britannia in the shield just there. Britannia seated just here in the middle. And a date at the bottom. It looks like 1799 or maybe 1792. I'm not certain, but on the other side we can just make out 111 Rex and a nose, an eye and a very large potato head. It is King George the Third. King George the Third, who ruled from 1760 to 1820. He was King of Great Britain and Ireland and also Elector of Hanover. He lost his mind, he lost the American colonies, and while he was on the throne and while he was still alive, the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. But it's a coin. It's been a long time coming. It's a big chunky Georgian penny, and I'm happy with that. This might get us back on track. We've got another good quality sound coming through at a solid 82. Come on, could it be back-to-back coins? Fingers crossed. It was a deep one, folks, but I think we've got telltale lead. We have. We've got like a little lead lump. Oh wow, that's a bit different. What is that? Right, I'm going to need to give this a gentle clean up and see what this is. That might be medieval, if I'm lucky. Right, bear with me a second. I'll go and give this a bit of a gentle rub-a-dub and maybe a little wash in the stream. You'll never guess who has just come onto the fields of Perthshire. It is Mr. Fletch, aka the Garrett Kid. There he is with his AT Pro International, and he snuck up on me. He's been away shopping with his wife because he loves it. He loves a bit of retail therapy. And I'm just coming back to this little thing. Look at that. So, what do you reckon to this, folks? It's plain on the back, just smooth on the back. It looks like it's been suspended from something. It's got like a little tag which is broken off on the end. I've had a scout around. There's no more bits. But look at that. What is it? I don't think it's a seal, because it doesn't look like that would transfer onto wax, but then again maybe it would. I don't know. I've never found a sort of seal matrix before. But there's a cross. I don't know, is that like the cross of the Knights Templar or the Maltese cross? It looks familiar, but I can't think where I've seen it before. And it has got 3 dots or pellets in each of the 4 quarters, a bit like a hammered silver medieval coin. And the little tag is actually not in great condition. It looks like it's about ready to fall off, so I'm not going to touch it because I think it'll just crumble. If it was anything to do with the Knights Templar, well, the Knights Templar was like the Roman Catholic military order. sometimes just called the Templars, or sometimes called, I think it was something like Solomon's Soldiers or Solomon's Army. They were founded in the early 1100s, about 1115, and they were disbanded on the orders of the Pope in 1313, I think it was. And their prime aim was to provide safety and escort pilgrims who were travelling to the Middle East on pilgrimages. And I think they basically became too powerful for their own good. And on the orders of the Pope, they were wiped out. So, what do you think? Could that be medieval? Could that be from the 13th century or the 12th century, or maybe even the early 14th century? Let me know in the comments. Beautiful thing. And it's made of lead, if I haven't already said that. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so I've got an ear blower here. It's coming in at a solid 87 with a very big non-ferrous bar. I think it's going to be aluminium or aluminium, and Mr. Fletch has got the Garrett AT Pro International over the top of it, and he thinks it's either going to be a coin or aluminium as well. So he's gone with a can for size, and I'm also going with a can. But maybe we're both wrong. Let's find out. You'll never guess. We're both completely wrong. It is a coin. It is a ship's halfpenny, 1937, which means it's Georgius the Sixth, the present king's, queen's husband. No, father. Sorry, father. There we go. It's in pretty beautiful condition. Georgius V1, George the Sixth, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, Defender of the Faith, and Emperor of India. And Paul has just got a, oh, that's plastic. Paul's just got a signal immediately next to it, which he was joking would probably be a tin can, so we'll see. Maybe it's a coin hoard. But George the Sixth on the back, we've got the galleon with its 3 masts, and the date 1937, so just a couple of years before the start of World War I, when Germany invaded Poland. And George VI, famous for the King's Speech, the stutter, and as I mentioned before, he is the father of Queen Elizabeth II. But let's see what Paul's got. Whatever it is, oh, I don't believe it. He's got silver.
Let's have a little silver.
He's got silver.
Silver George.
I don't believe it.
1929.
He's like literally 3 feet away from me. You jammy swine. Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have shouted him over to check the signal. I would have found this coin otherwise. So there we are, folks. Georgius V, by the grace of God, King of the Britons, Defender of the Faith, and Emperor of India. And 6pence, 1929. I wonder if these have been dropped by the same person, but either way, another silver coin from this field that has produced dozens of silver coins. George V died in 1937, so he had 10 years to go. Nope, he had 8 years to go by the time this was made. And famously, he was killed by his own doctor. He euthanized him so that his death could be announced in the morning papers. This time we've got a 64-65. Initially I found a nail with a pinpointer and I knew that couldn't be it, but I found it. It is what initially I thought was a button, but it's not. It's part of a shotgun cap. Bit of age to it, but at the end of the day, it's junk. This might well be my last signal. Mr. Fletch has been over it and he says it's a digger. So we've got a 90, 91. Alas, we were right, it wasn't iron, but it is a little fragment of metal and it's got white paint on it, whatever it is. So unfortunately, it is junk. But I think that will probably be the last find of the day. If I happen to find something else, I will edit this video. And if you are watching this, then in the final 10 minutes we found nothing worth filming. So thank you for watching. Another successful day out with the Deus 2 and on program 6, Deep HC. So thanks for watching. If you don't already, give me a subscription, give me a subscribe, give me a like, follow and turn on the notifications, and we'll see you on the next dig. Thanks for watching.